took an ash off the second third, about halfway through the cigar, halfway through the second third. And so far, no real changes from the beginning. We're getting very close to the band. We're gonna deband this guy. And no real changes from the beginning. Just the only thing I noticed was the presence of some of this dried fruit type flavor, but very, not sweet, kind of winey almost. So now you got the wood and the coffee notes. The coffee notes are getting a little more diminished, and there's more of this winey dried fruit kind of taste, and just a lot of wood, salt, and what tastes like some pretty good Nicaraguan tobacco. Kind of, a little, getting like a little leafiness in the nose, like almost a very slight hint of ammonia. This kind of it's not just like a nice floral. It's almost a little ammonia there. But other than that, there's no bitterness. So that's good. And if you stay away from the nose with this, you don't have any problem. But there is a little bit of a young ammonia type presence through the nasal part of the palate, or through the nose, as they say. But when they say the nose, it doesn't always mean blowing it through your nose. It means even if you get like just a little bit in the nasal area, like where your nose is through the upper portion of the roof of your mouth, if you go, and just a little, and you can sense, right away you'll either get like a floral thing, or a lot of times on a cigar, the Nicaraguan tobacco has that a lot because it's very, very high in alkalines. So you have pretty you can have that ammonia taste. Anyway, there is some good strength to the cigar, which I like. I'm feeling pretty nice. It's definitely heading toward the full body realm, if it's not already there. I think it pretty much is. Woody and a dried fruitiness now. Coffee, still there, just not as far back, it doesn't grab the tongue as much, but it's still there. A very nice, I would call this, it's a little strong to have with breakfast or after breakfast, but I would say a nice coffee break cigar or after lunch cigar, something like that. Could be an after dinner cigar. I mean, why not? Could be an anytime fucking cigar. Oh, which brings me to the point of, some people have been sending emails, and I love this because, like I said, I ask for recommendations and comments, and some people are asking for pairings. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Pairing this with this with that. And I think pairings are a wonderful idea. Personally, I don't pair much because I like to concentrate on the flavor of the cigar in its entirety. Alright? So what I will drink with my cigar will be usually just some seltzer water, which acts as a palate cleanser, or at the very most a just like a diet soda, ginger ale, or something without real sugar in it, that's not too sweet. As to, once you start doing something like, say you drink sun-kissed orange soda, or even regular Coca-Cola while having a cigar, the sweetness of that drink will make it impossible for you to sense any sweeter notes that are in the cigar you're smoking. That's what happens, and that's why pairings are important if you want the most out of your cigar and whatever else you're drinking. So, there are a lot of things you could do for pairings. If you like to drink alcohol, if you like a good stiff one, and you want the most out of your cigar without really interfering with the cigar, it's vodka. Vodka is used as a palate cleanser, especially when, with caviar, which is another very big thing in certain areas of the world. And it used to be, I think, a little bigger than it is now, but caviar is a delicacy, and just like cigars, each brand of caviar has its very own signature flavor and all different notes and things that it goes with, and they often drink vodka or champagne with caviar to act as a palate cleanser. You definitely don't want to drink sun-kissed orange soda with caviar. Cigar is developing a bit of an oaky character now as we go along. So, and also the cigar is picking up salt. It's picking up a lot of salt. And cigars that are heavy and salty, and I like contrast personally. There are not too many cigars I would pair with wine really. There are a few. There are a lot that I would pair with drinks like brandy, scotch, bourbon, even gin, depending on, a lot of different drinks. Martini is always safe, that's the thing. A vodka drink is always safe, as long as you're not mixing it like a screwed with OJ or something, because it's a palate cleanser. It has very little significant flavor that's going to override the flavors of your cigar. And plus the alcohol washes away any undesirable flavors that remain from whatever you ate before, So there's those, and I think beers certain times would go great with a cigar. A cigar like this, that's a little on the heavier side, a little on the salty side, with some woodiness going on. I think a nice cold, crisp beer, something like a pale ale, maybe even like a pilsner, would go very good with this. Because of the characteristics of the smoke of this cigar, it's very bassy. The smoke is pretty dense. It's getting very dense now. I don't think I'd like to pair it with something that's too sudsy, as to wash out the feeling of the smoke, or that's too deep and woody and oaky, and to ignore those, like a Guinness or something, that would end up overriding those flavors. So I think, a cigar like this, Nicaraguan heavy cigar, and once you pair a good thing with this, you can pair it with a lot of other similar type of Nicaraguan cigars. So I think that's another interesting topic when it comes to cigars, is pairings. Like I said, I like to do contrasts. I like to do heavier cigars with lighter drinks. I like to do lighter cigars with heavy drinks, but sometimes no, because you override the light cigar. It's a little complex sometimes, it can be. Sometimes it can be as simple as just drinking what you enjoy while smoking a cigar you enjoy and just seeing what happens. I do that a lot too. It's a strong cigar like that, in contrast, would go great with like a pilsner, beer or something like that. In a matching sense, it may go very, very well with scotch. I could really picture this cigar with a nice shot of like Chivas Regal on ice or something like that. That would be pretty nice. This is a pretty deep coffee-esque cigar, and the aromas are pretty woody and cedary, so it would go nice with something like a Chivas Regal. There's always more than one thing you can pair it with, and then try those out. Smoke the same cigar with different things and see which goes best. A lot of interesting things you can do when it comes to smoking cigars solo or with friends. But at least that gives you, if you're not with friends and you're by yourself, at least you have some different things to play around with. We're into the last third, just getting into the last third. Coffee notes are very strong now, and some floral type notes are coming out with that. Almost like the end of the party gets short, where we had like some floral notes and coffee-esque notes at the end. But that was a totally different cigar. I mean, mostly that cigar was on the sweeter side, with a lot of sweet spices and things like that. It really, smoking that type of cigar, like the party gets short that we did yesterday, and a cigar like this the next day, really showcases the difference between different tobaccos. You know, tomorrow, well, we're going to do another Cuban, and then I'd like to do a Dominican. I'd like to do a Fuente soon, something like along the lines of an Opus, or maybe I'll try to get one of their newest releases. I got a friend who stashed a few things away from me. I forget what they call it, something Angels or Angelus, or some new Fuente cigar that came out recently. Got a lot of different. I got a great Fuente collection. You know, a lot of singles, a lot of the more expensive cigars, Opus, Lost City. So yeah, getting into this last third, and very, very strong coffee notes, floral notes, woody notes, very cedary, woody type aroma. This cigar definitely has a lot of nice strength to it. I'm interested to see how much of a kick it has at the end. I'm also interested to see if it gets it muddy at all, like a lot of a lot of Nicaraguan cigars do. So we're about to find out. So I guess we'll just ramble a little bit while I finish this cigar up. Not much else going on. Looking forward to Cuban Day tomorrow. Haven't decided. I'm really bad at deciding what I want to do as far as cigars are concerned until the last minute. Because, you know, of course I want to do the review and everything, but I kind of like to pick based on how I feel at the moment. You know, when I have time to do the review during the day. Do I want a mild cigar? Do I want a strong cigar? You know, do I want a cigar that's more woody and fruity? Do I want a cigar that's more salty and coffee-esque? There's a lot of different questions, you know, so it's kind of hard. Like I've been saying, I want to line up the cigars so people know what it's going to be. I don't know, maybe people would rather be surprised, you know, but if I do know ahead of time, I'll let you know. If I don't, I won't, and probably most of the time I won't, because that's who I am. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a last-minute type of guy on a lot of things, you know. This cigar has had an amazing draw and an amazing burn the entire way through. By the way, before, when I said that the wrapper was a little bit blah-blah and it might have to hit that, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone, I never touched it, and boom, fixed itself, no problem. And it did it again, and after a few puffs, boom, fixed itself. All that is that it has a pretty thick wrapper, and sometimes, like there's a little spike right there, sometimes the carbonized wrapper doesn't quite, you know, burn if it separates from the head a little bit, and all you got to do is just wait till it comes down a little more, and in most cases the flame will catch up with it and incinerate it. So when you bring your lighter, when you bring your torch, especially a torch, to your cigar, all you're doing is adding a ton of heat, you know, unless it has to be done, unless it really has to be done, don't do it, because like we said, heat is bad for the cigar.